Over on the outskirts of LA, one of the most expensive sports venues ever constructed is nearing completion. But it's not for NFL, baseball or soccer. This stunning arena is going to be the new pride of the NBA. Designed to create the most intimidating atmosphere possible, it's got the largest video scoreboard of its kind and is going to be run completely carbon-free. Oh, and it's being built by one of the world's richest and most eccentric billionaires. So how come it's costing so much for its size, and why build it in the first place? Time for a look inside the Clippers' new home, which is set to be a slam dunk. Los Angeles, California. It's where the sun shines bright, the beaches are wide and inviting, and if you're a fan of basketball, there's nowhere better to be. The home of Hollywood also has two of the most valuable teams in the NBA based right here. Even if you're not into your sports, you'll probably heard of at least one of them, the Lakers. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, they've all donned the famous yellow jersey. The Clippers, on the other hand, have had to cope with being less popular and successful than their rivals, and the fact they've had to share a venue hasn't exactly helped. That's right, they've spent decades playing at the Crypto.com Arena, formerly the Staples Center, which also hosted the 2024 Grammys. But not for much longer. The Clippers are now packing up and moving out into a place of their own. And what a place that is. The $2 billion Intuit Dome. No, we haven't got that number wrong. This basketball arena, with less than 18,000 seats, is set to cost more than the Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, which held the 2024 Super Bowl. That stadium is over 3 times as big, with space for 65,000 people. In fact, the only other stadium in the world that had a higher price tag was the SoFi Stadium, and that just happens to be right next door in the suburb of Inglewood. You see, just like SoFi, where the Rams of the NFL play, the Clippers are lucky enough to be owned by a billionaire. But this isn't just any old regular rich guy. The man behind the Intuit Dome is seriously loaded and known for being a bit of a character. Oh yes, we're talking about former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer. Okay, but why on earth is it so expensive? Well, when you look at all the ingredients going into it, you might begin to understand where some of that money has been going. Let's start with the most obvious thing, that exterior. The building is covered in a shell made from diamond-shaped panels placed on a structural steel diagrid. This allows it to resemble a giant basketball net sitting on top of the venue. There's loads packed inside too. It's got 5 full-size courts in total, more than any other NBA venue, including 2 practice courts and an outdoor one. A 7,000 square metre plaza stretches around the arena, complete with shops, bars, restaurants, and a massive LED screen. The site even has offices, a hotel, training facility, concert stage, and, because it's LA, 4,000 parking spaces. As for the main arena, well, it does have a pretty unusual design. Thanks to its steep, bowl-shaped layout, fans are going to feel much closer to the action than they were previously, almost like they're kind of sat hovering over the court. If that weren't imposing enough, there's a whole section that's basically designed to scare the opposition. Called The Wall, it'll have 51 rows of uninterrupted seats placed right near the visitors' bench, helping create a very intense atmosphere. Think of it as the LA equivalent of the Cop at Liverpool's Anfield Stadium. Now, you might assume that fans in the higher seats won't have as much to see, but you'd be wrong. Because up here, you'll find the largest ever double-sided video board in an arena setting, the Halo board. Stretching for almost a full acre all the way around, it's armed with more than 200 million LEDs. With this high-tech piece of kit, sightlines can be optimised for every seat, and those watching from the upper bowl will get the very best view of it. AV installations really don't come much bigger than that. But what if you wanted to be someone that does this sort of thing every day, that puts things as cool as this inside arenas? Well, you'd need to be good at programming and coding, but if your knowledge of that is full of glitches, there's a new platform to help you level up your skills. This week's video sponsor, Brilliant, lets you learn by doing and offers thousands of interactive lessons in subjects like data analysis, AI, mathematics, and, you guessed it, programming and coding. It's a great way to develop critical thinking through problem solving, learning a little bit more each day whenever you have the time. Their Thinking in Code course is just one example. These hands-on lessons will have you writing programs, recognizing patterns, and combining conditions like a professional programmer. But if that's a subject that could send your system into shutdown, Brilliant has plenty of options in other areas too, from measurement and vectors to probability and correlation. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/the B1M or click the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Okay, let's get back to that big old bowl-shaped arena. Now, speaking of bowls, there's one other thing this place has more of than anywhere else.
Toilets! 1,160 toilets and urinals! 3 times the NBA average number of toilets and urinals! We do not want people waiting in line. We want them to get back to their damn seats.
Alright, calm down, Steve. He is trying to make a point though, and that is that the Intuit Dome is flush with features aimed at ensuring people won't miss any of the action. There'll be grab-and-go concession stands with no queuing, almost 200 game clocks reminding people to sit back in their damn seats, and other types of so-called frictionless technology. What's also really impressive about this venue is that it's going to be 100% carbon-free from day one. That means it'll be producing zero waste, a low-water strategy will save 7.5 million gallons of the stuff every year, and the arena is fully electric. On the roof, you'll find almost 300 solar panels which feed into an on-site battery system. Now, in sunny LA, a lot of energy can be generated and stored in this way, and it even allows the stadium to operate off-grid for more than 6 hours. That's more than long enough for an entire NBA Finals game. The roof is also covered in PTFE and ETFE panels which help reduce energy consumption. They're used to block out the heat of the sun while letting in plenty of natural daylight. That might all be really good for the environment, but there was still a lot of concrete used for the subterranean frame and foundations. Almost 50,000 cubic meters of the material was required, an amount that could fill 19 Olympic pools. Once the foundations were done, attention turned to the steelwork, including the roof, which weighs almost 3,000 tons. March 2023 saw the final steel beam, signed by everyone involved in the build, lifted into place. That's less than 2 years after work first began in September 2021. So, where is all that cash coming from? Well, Bulmer is the 10th richest person in the world, with a net worth of $120 billion at the time this video was published. In other words, he can afford to privately fund it, which is just as well because that $2 billion isn't even the total amount he had to spend to get his pet project up and running. Acquiring the land cost over $60 million, and then a further $400 million was spent buying a nearby venue owned by another NBA team boss who wasn't too keen on Bulmer's plans. Now, of course, the idea is to make at least some of that money back. Title rights for the Dome have already been sold to financial software company Intuit for more than $500 million. And like many new sports venues, the arena can also be adapted for other uses like live music events, all of which help to bring in extra revenue. Concerts have already been announced from the likes of Weezer, Billy Joel and Usher. One thing's for sure, the Clippers haven't got it bad with their new home, and the same goes for the people of Inglewood. Bulmer and his team have pledged to deliver $100 million in community benefits to the local area, including affordable housing schemes. The venue is now on track to host the 2026 NBA All-Star Game and basketball events at the 2028 Olympics. It seems that LA's latest arena has scored some big points before it's even finished. Basketball arenas might not be as big as stadiums used for other sports, and they don't tend to offer much in terms of design or built-in technology. But this one clearly bucks the trend. Come summer 2024, the Clippers won't just have a place that'll separate them from their more famous neighbours. In terms of who has the better arena, the Lakers might soon find themselves in an unfamiliar position. Second best. This video was sponsored by Brilliant. You can learn more about that at the link below. Don't forget that we're inspiring the next generation of builders through our investment into BrickBorrow, a fantastic LEGO subscription service. You can learn more and get started today over at brickborrow.com. And as always guys, if you thought this video was a slam dunk and you want to get more from the definitive video channel for construction, make sure you're subscribed to the B1M.